Hi guys, welcome to the Crypto Winter Survivor. On this channel I will be reviewing crypto projects that I either find very interesting or not at all. And today's review is about DuckDao or DDIM. DuckDao offers access to pre-sales of projects that they promote. Basically they have a Telegram group in which you can join if you hold a certain amount of DDIM. The team I couldn't really find much about. There's not really anything about their team on the website. Just that they are partners with Box Mining and Ivan on Tech, but it didn't state that the project is actually run by them. It just stated that they are partners, and I couldn't find anything about the team other than that. So if you do have information on that, let me know in the comments. Well, potential problems, it purely relies on the quality of the pre-sales. If the project that they offer on pre-sale in their groups are gonna fail, then, well, you know, then your investment in it is gonna fail as well. And if that's the case, then their own token, DDIM, has no value because it only has value to actually access these pre-sales. Another problem is that there are minimum requirements of holding DDIM. So if the value of the DDIM token will go up a lot and the requirements are not gonna be readjusted, then you're gonna need a lot of money to be able to access these groups and these pre-sales. And other than that, it's very buzzwordy, which is something that I don't really like too much. It's all about hype, and it's all about let's go to the moon, and it's all about don't miss out and stuff like that. So it's not really my cup of tea. I will give them a nice 1 for the project because I just don't really get it. They're not doing enough for me as a project to get a higher rating than this. Looking at the market, they're going for the pre-sales, the paid groups, and they're doing some promotional work for third parties as well. So if you have a project, you can come to DuckDao and get your project promoted to their DuckDao community. Market cap potentials, I couldn't really find a great example. There's no one in the space really that does exactly the same as DuckDao. And I mean, you can look at some venture capital companies, but it's kind of hard to compare DuckDao with that, and it all works a bit different, so I couldn't really find a good comparison. And like I said, if the market cap will go very high for DuckDao, it's only gonna get more expensive to actually get in. So probably the higher the number, the lower the amount of new users are gonna come in, because you need 200 DDIM to join. So if DDIM will be $100 at some point, then you know you're gonna need 20k to actually join these pre-sales, and that's gonna scare off a lot of people. And does it need a blockchain? Well, not really. Everything they're doing they can do without a blockchain basically, and also they can do it without their own token. At least they can just say, well, send 10 ether to this address, and we will safekeep it for you until you want to leave the group. So you can, you know, there's a lot of ways of doing private groups like this, and there's a lot of them already in existence. And DuckDao did find a new way of doing it, but it doesn't really need to happen in this way, and there's not really anything that they're really solving. I will give them a 2 for the market because, again, it's they have going for them that they found something that's kind of new, but it's not really solving anything in my opinion. Looking at the competition, again, there's no real great example of someone that's doing exactly the same as DuckDao. However, we could look at Ferrum Network, which is actually has a partnership going on with DuckDao, but these pre-sales and these things are only a very small part of the Ferrum network, and that's, in my opinion, how it should be. I don't see this as a cryptocurrency or crypto project succeeding really, because it's just offering way too little. And like I said, on Ferrum network, it's only like 10% of what they're offering. So then it could work, and then you could get a community going and actually make this work in the long run. And I don't really see that happening for DuckDao. Other than that, all the paid groups that are already existing are competition of DuckDao. I mean, they do it in a bit different way, but if you have to pay someone €100 a month or a tenth of an ether a month or whatever to get access to these pre-sales, it's not that different than having to buy a lot of DDIM and then hoping that the value won't crash. And if DDIM or if DuckDao as a project doesn't offer the right pre-sales, the value is going to collapse eventually. So you're actually paying a lot more for the access to these memberships than you would with other paid groups. So if you count all the paid groups as competition, then there's definitely a lot of them. And other than that, this is really easy to copy. I mean, I'm not a tech guy, but if you can write some code, then I'm pretty sure this whole concept is really easy to copy. And then if you can promote it to the right people, then you can get a following for it as well. So there's going to be a lot of competition. If DuckDao would succeed, then there's going to be TigerDAO, and there's going to be PantherDAO or whatever, but there's going to be a lot of them basically, and usually ducks don't win it from tigers. The biggest difference is, well, it is a very new concept, but that's pretty much all. I mean, it is they're doing it in a new way, which is always cool, but like I said before, it's not really that groundbreaking. Adoption, they have had a couple of pre-sales already, and they have quite a few members, which is always good. But then again, adoption, in my opinion, is less relevant here, because probably this will, like I said before, it will probably work better if you only have 1,000 members, because, well, basically if a project does a pre-sale, you can actually give a big allocation to all your members. If you have 1,000 members, you can all give them 1/10 of a percent to every member. And if you have eventually, if they would succeed in a way and they would have 1 million users, well, let's say a company or a crypto project will do a pre-sale and they want to have they want to get together $10 million, which is a pretty big amount. Then every member of DuckDao will only have an allocation of $10. So basically this only works with a small number of people, and it doesn't really work. If it goes very mainstream, then the value goes down a lot for having DDIM, because if you can get a $10 allocation for a project, then what's the point? And we'll give them a 3 rating for this part. Could be lower because there is a lot of competition, but they are trying it in a different way, which is always good. There's not someone currently that does it in the exact same way as DuckDao, but I do believe that, like I said, if DuckDao is a success, then there will be coming a lot of others on the market. Looking at the token economics, they have a market cap of about 30 million. They have a circling supply of about 1 million and a max and total supply of about 1.5 million. You can see the pre-sale terms here. They did an airdrop, they did some pre-sale, they did some on Uniswap, and then they have quite a bit in reserves. So yeah, it's not the best. I mean, there's still 1/3 of the tokens that are left to be issued, so that's definitely going to cause some inflation. The yearly inflation is not really known, but it all depends on how fast they will issue their tokens. We'll give them a 5 rating for this because it's definitely not the worst I've seen, but it's also not great for sure. I mean, 1/3 of the coins still having to be issued, that is a bit too much for my liking, but especially because there's no deflationary things that are going on with the token. It's not like they have token burns and stuff like that. So looking at the token utility, what is the token being used for? Well, like I said, it's used for access to pre-sales. If you have a certain amount of DDIM in your account, then you will get access to a group, and in this group they will promote pre-sales. That's basically it. So if the pre-sales are going to be amazing and out of this world, then it could be very lucrative to actually hold DDIM. I'm not here to bash any holder of DDIM and anyone trying to get rich from these pre-sales. However, in my opinion, in the long run, DDIM as a token is kind of doomed to fail as it is, as it doesn't have any utility other than just holding it and getting access to pre-sales. And like I said, if there actually are going to be more and more users, which usually is something you want for your crypto project, you want more and more users. But if it happens with DuckDao, pretty much everyone is screwed because, you know, if I'm holding DDIM, now I can maybe get a 1,000 or a 5,000 allocation of a new pre-sale. But if more and more people are gonna come in, this number is gonna keep going down. So basically, the more people that use DuckDao, the less valuable for everyone it is. So this is kind of something that doesn't make sense in my opinion. And yeah. And then as a project, you can actually come on to DuckDao and promote your pre-sale. So DuckDao will do some research into your project and see if it is the right fix. And it's kind of hard to actually see how much research goes into this, because a project still has to pay for getting their pre-sale on DuckDao. So in my opinion, I find it very hard to believe that the research is going to be too deep into these projects, because I think if someone would offer 1,000 Ethereums, 1,000 ethers, if you know, like $1 million value to DuckDao to promote their pre-sale on DuckDao, I'm pretty sure DuckDao is going to be pretty easy with their research onto this project. And then besides that, these things are supposed to be paid in DDIM, but again, it's kind of hard to check if this is really happening. And again, if someone just offers $1 million to DDIM or to DuckDao, then I believe they're just going to accept it, and they're not going to say, no, you have to buy DDIM first and then send that to us. So I do believe that their token utility is pretty horrible. I will give them a 2 for this, because there is some utility. I mean, there's also projects that have zero utility for the tokens. So there's it's not the worst that I've seen, but it's definitely way too little for me. Now looking at their marketing, you can see their website here. It's DuckDao.io, and then they have a Twitter account of 17,000 people, a Telegram of 12,000 people, and they are mostly on Uniswap right now. Their YouTube creators are Ivan on Tech and Box Mining. They have as partners. So this is very good, of course, if you have both of these guys have over 200,000 viewers. So it's very important to have these guys on your side. So marketing wise, they can go a long way, but again, the problem is that the more they grow, the less the project is likely to succeed, pretty much. So it's kind of weird in that way. And other than that, they're not that active yet on like YouTube and Reddit and all that. So it's definitely not the highest statistics I've ever seen. And I don't know how much of a partnership it is with Ivan on Tech and Box Mining. Maybe they just linked their name to it and called the DuckDao name a couple of times in their videos. But maybe they're gonna make a weekly video on it, and then of course that's gonna attract some people. So I will give them a 7 rating for their marketing. It's definitely the best part of what they're doing, which I personally don't find the most important thing. But it definitely is important. There's also projects that have amazing working projects and working products and really try to solve some issues, but then don't do any marketing. And if you don't do any marketing or have anyone doing your marketing, then it's kind of hard to get some following. And then the rating overview. I gave them a 1 for the project, a 2 for the market, a 3 for the competition, a 5 for the token economics, because they really weren't that bad. A 2 for the token utility, because there's basically nothing to do with DDIM. You can't really do anything with it other than trying to reach this 200 or 2500 limits in which you can join their groups. And again, if the pre-sales that they have are gonna be great, then maybe it's worth it, but you should watch out for it a bit. And then a 7 for their marketing, because that's something that they definitely put a lot of effort in, which comes to a 3.3 as a total rating, which is probably gonna be on the lower side of the projects I review on this channel. But again, having said all this, I'm not saying that it is bad to join their groups and to actually pay for this. And maybe if all the projects that are coming onto their network are gonna be great, I don't know that, but it all seems very pumpy-dumpy for me. They stated like 17x on this project and 18x on this project, which is all great, but I mean, it's very unsustainable, and probably the core members of DuckDao are the ones making the most money of this, and it's all far from great. So I would definitely watch out and don't spend all your money on DDIM. Thank you for watching. Look below for the show notes if you are interested in DuckDao, even though my review wasn't the most positive. Feel free to check out their website, their white paper, and all of that, and see you all in the next one.